This is my reaction to Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, which just took place in the main event of UFC 324, where Justin Gaethje won the fight by decision over Paddy Pimblett. He wins the interim title in what was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my entire life of watching this sport. I've seen so many fights, and even before I was into this sport, I've watched back older fights from the past. This is up there with one of the greatest fights of all time. An absolute legendary fight to kick off the Paramount era in their first main event on pay-per-view. I have no idea. Listen, Justin Gaethje won.
Justin Gaethje just took down Paddy Pimblett by decision at UFC 34's main event, claiming that interim belt in what I'm calling one of the most incredible fights I've witnessed in this sport. This wasn't just some solid scrap, this was pure violence at its finest. The perfect chaotic opener for Paramount's first pay-per-view headliner. The pace never let up from the opening bell.
I have no idea how Paddy Pimblett did not get flatline KO'd on about 50 different occasions. If he lost, yes, he did lose, and if he lost any stock from this, the one saving grace is that he's been saying for a long time, we don't get knocked out, lad, and that would be the worst thing to happen to him. If he got KO'd in one of these fights badly, that would just be his ridicule forever. What happened to Scousers don't get knocked out, and it'd just be images of Paddy Pimblett out cold. I have no idea how he didn't get flatlined in this fight. Justin Gaethje was cracking him with so many overhand rights, and the worst part was, it's not...
I have no idea how Pimblett stayed standing after eating so many devastating overhand rights from Gaethje, shots that would instantly flatten most elite fighters. Yet somehow he remained upright, still firing back, completely defying everything we know about human limits. His chin felt like it came from another planet entirely.
It's going to be seen as biased for me to bring this up. I bring up fouls in every fight breakdown I do. I know I wanted Paddy to win, but I am going to bring up the fouls. Gaethje fought very fucking dirty in this fight. A lot of eye pokes, a groin shot as well. I think Paddy Pimblett had a groin shot that he landed too, but that was towards the end of the fight where it was just an absolute mess of a scrap between the two of them. But Gaethje landed some really bad eye pokes on him. But it doesn't matter, because the result is the result. Pimblett gets beaten over 5 rounds. At one point in the third, and we can go through this bit by bit, round 1 through round 5. Round 1...
What made Pimblett's toughness even more incredible was his complete willingness to eat punishment. Whether he was throwing or getting hit, he constantly found himself with his chin up in the air, jaw completely exposed, absorbing clean shots. Every time Gaethje loaded up, I literally winced, expecting the inevitable knockout, but it just never came. He seemed almost eager to get hit, but in this bizarre, superhuman way where the damage couldn't finish him.
She not wobbled by any of these shots. Gaethje's chin is absolutely insane as well. That needs to be mentioned too. Pimblett was landing body kicks, knees to the body, low kicks, wasn't shooting any takedowns. Because I picked the mixed martial artist to win. So he was just duking it out with Gaethje in round 1 and 2. Low kicks, body kicks, head kicks out of nowhere, uppercuts, hooks. He was landing good shots on Gaethje. And Gaethje just at one point said, it's nothing, like that to him, and was just eating these shots. And then when Gaethje got going after the eye poke that he landed on Pimblett, which was pretty bad, and I was thinking, oh my god, no.
This fight had its share of controversy though. Gaethje fought dirty throughout this contest, connecting with several questionable low blows late in the action during all that chaos. These fouls were blatant and happened at critical moments, completely disrupting the flow and fairness of an already insane battle.
The body. Teeps, low kicks, knees, punches, chin up in the air. You're wondering every time, when is he going to get slept? There's so many moments, and I was screaming, yes, we are DDP, basically, in the middle of this, because it was just like, dude, this is plot armor. How is he surviving these moments so narrowly, with millimeters to spare? Gaethje swinging these overhooks, and it's not even like Pimblett was landing and then weaving, and then, you know, like coolly slipping out of the way of these shots. He was just there to be hit, but in such an awkward way that the shots were just whizzing past his head and face on so many occasions. I really thought this is it. He is
One moment early on really caught my attention. Gacy appeared slightly hesitant and Pimblett capitalized immediately, connecting with clean bodywork. For a brief moment, it genuinely seemed like Paddy might pull off the impossible and actually beat Gacy. I was completely locked in on whether Pimblett could actually make this happen. This unexpected start immediately set the tone and created this violent atmosphere for everything that followed.
The thing up against the cage in round 2. And then Gaethje cracks him with an overhand and drops him really bad in round 2. And it should be mentioned, a lot of the damage on Pimblett came from that moment. Amazing performance from Gaethje. Turned back the clock. I thought Pimblett was going to win. Don't get me wrong. But he did thumb him in the eye, and Goddard did nothing about it, even though he warned him about the eye poke before. Thumbed him in the eye and then cracked him with a right hand that dropped him after that, and Pimblett proceeded to really badly beat the shit out of Pimblett on the ground with ground and pound for about a minute straight. I think round 2 could be scored a 10-8, so even if you took a point...
It's absolutely insane, honestly. Even though Pimblett was connecting with some incredibly powerful low kicks, body kicks, and even surprise head kicks out of nowhere, Gacy just marched right through them. He seemed to welcome the strikes at first, almost like he was testing himself against them. Refusing to show any weakness, he stayed composed and weathered everything Pimblett threw at him, showing the kind of iron chin that very few fighters in this...
Maybe not the same version, but if he lands this on other fighters, they are going out. We've seen it. We've seen other fighters get put out by that. But this is like Ferguson level chin, prime Ferguson level chin from Paddy Pimblett. Hopefully he doesn't have a similar trajectory after the Gaethje fight, but he was eating some heaters off of Gaethje in round 4. Still landing his own back and having some good moments, but this is when it started to go bad. Like he would have a moment, then slip, end up on bottom. Gaethje's on top in that north-south, punching him in the head over and over again. Round 5, Gaethje won the 5th maybe. Looking back at these stats, but Pimblett kind of had him wobbled at one point in the round, so I think that could maybe sway it a little bit, but one judge or...
A really brutal eye poke completely stopped the action. I immediately thought about Tom Aspinall and other British fighters whose title fights ended in controversy, but Pimblett stayed focused, kept fighting. He continued battling only to get rocked by another shot right after the foul. This was a vicious sequence that perfectly displayed both Gacy's ruthlessness and Pimblett's unbreakable will.
I still can't believe what I watched. When I compare this to other great fights in UFC history, Gustafsson gets, that was a shit fight for 3 rounds. Then it was 4th round, Gustafsson was doing good, and then he gets wobbled by the really good ending of the 4th round. And then round 5 was a decent round as well. But this comparable stuff, but with more chaos on the feet in terms of the shots they were landing on each other. Non-stop violence, the numbers, because these weren't like tappy shots that they were landing on each other, you know? It wasn't like 27 but...
Right after that eye poke, Gacy unleashed absolute hell. He dropped Pimblett hard in the 2nd round with a massive overhand right. What followed was a minute-long savage ground and pound assault that clearly scored as a 10-8, a crucial round that made it nearly impossible for Pimblett to win without getting a finish. Pimblett's survival during these moments felt like pure movie magic. He ate tremendous shots to the head, yet somehow he'd recover, get back up, and start firing back like he hadn't just been almost knocked unconscious. His hairline escapes from disaster left me yelling at my screen, wondering how anyone could survive such relentless high-level punishment. Watching this fight, I couldn't help but think about Ilia Topuria. The sheer amount of wild violence and chin-testing moments made it seem like Ilia would be drooling watching these two go to war. While it was brutal to witness, that comparison really highlighted just how insane this battle truly was. Round 3 brought a massive shift in momentum. Pimblett, despite all the previous punishment, found fresh energy and started taking over. He was outlanding Gacy in significant strikes, breaking him down with precision and power. I genuinely thought he might take control and score a TKO finish, watching him pull ahead on the scorecards and finally inflicting visible damage on the previously untouchable Gacy. Pimblett's attack in round 3 was absolutely relentless. He started connecting with everything: jabs, body shots, leg kicks, and Gacy began to visibly struggle, losing his balance and feeling the accumulated damage. Those persistent body shots and leg kicks were finally paying dividends. Initially defensive, Pimblett mounted one of the most exciting comebacks in an already wild contest. Just as Pimblett built serious momentum in the third round, landing a jumping knee, he unfortunately caught Gacy low, causing another brief stoppage. This temporarily killed his incredible surge. Still remarkably, he managed to close out the round strong, showing an ability to refocus and maintain his attack despite the accidental foul. Gacy, ever the relentless warrior, rediscovered his timing in round 4. He started using his jab effectively, which opened up those devastating overhand rights again. But the question remained, how was Pimblett still standing? Gacy landed 3 straight overhand rights at one point, shots that normally put fighters to sleep. It was a masterclass in pure toughness from both guys. Pimblett's chin during this fight was truly Tony Ferguson level stuff. We've all seen what Gacy's overhand rights do to other elite fighters, but Paddy absorbed them like nobody else. He ate some massive bombs in the 4th round, still managing to land his own shots and have success despite being moments from being knocked out. It was a display of heart that bordered on reckless, but absolutely captivating. The numbers for this fight really don't tell the whole story. These weren't light touches. Every single strike counted as significant. Was a thunderous shot landed clean. The constant brutality and the pure power behind each exchange made this an extremely difficult fight to score, since both men kept hurting each other. Gacy's conditioning was a major surprise. While questions existed about his cardio going into this, he showed incredible durability, constantly throwing heavy leather even in the most desperate situation. He kept pushing forward, proving he could go all 5 rounds with an elite lightweight, a crucial revelation that changes how we view his future title chances. The controversial dirty fighting throughout from Gacy, particularly those eye pokes, remains a major talking point. Even though these things happen in fights, the lack of point deductions, especially considering how severe some of those fouls were, represents an unfortunate element of an otherwise legendary battle, raising serious questions about officiating standards in these high-stakes bouts. This fight wasn't just solid, it was absolutely essential for UFC 3D. The rest of the card largely underwhelmed with multiple boring fights and strange production issues. This saved the entire event, providing the guaranteed violence the card desperately needed, justifying the booking despite early fan skepticism, and launching the Paramount era with a truly unforgettable showcase. When it's all said and done, this war between Justin Gacy and Paddy Pimblett is already being hailed as a serious fight of the year contender, possibly even ranking among the greatest UFC battles ever. It exceeds comparisons to fights like Jones-Gustafsson, where the action only really picked up later, and stands alongside Griffin Bonnar for its non-stop, insane, relentless violence. Both fighters earned massive respect, delivering a truly legendary performance.